Hey everybody, Tamara Tamu here. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Unleashed Alchemy. Where on this channel, we help you remember your power to bring the unseen into the seen. Okay, so welcome. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button, all those wonderful things that help YouTube channels grow. All right, so thank you for your help. Also, thank you for those who are continuing to share my content, to continue to share my videos. I really appreciate you doing that. I see that happening, so thank you. Also, I want to tell you how there are other ways that you can work with me. There are other ways that I support people on their spiritual odyssey to experience complete spiritual freedom and complete spiritual transformation and complete spiritual revolution in your life. I have the Unleashed Alchemy Magic School. It is a monthly membership, so you don't have to rush through any of the workshops in there. There are at this point, over 18 hours. I know that sounds like a lot, but don't forget it's a monthly membership, so you don't have to rush through it. There are over 18 hours worth of pre-recorded workshop information that will help you tap into your spiritual gifts, that will help you release any type of spiritual or religious programming. All right, there's workshops that help you sharpen and strengthen your intuition, that help you get back in touch with your body as an energetic being so that you can hear from spirit very clearly and never guess or ask, okay, was that spirit or was that just my ego? You will know the difference. You'll be clear on the difference along with many other things. So just check that out. I will leave the link for the Magic School in the description box of the video. Oh, also, I want to say too, inside the Magic School, there is a community there where I go live monthly. It will either be a live workshop or it will be a live Q&A. Okay, so that is always a fun time. So join today. Also, I still provide one-to-one consulting. I don't do one-off appointments. I do a 90-day package where you will work with me over the course of 90 days. Even before that 90 days is out, you will experience spiritual freedom and experience a revolution, all right, that takes place internally. And of course, any type of up level, any type of upgrade that you experience on the inside, it is going to manifest in your external world. All right, so that is one of the reasons why I am here is to help others, helping myself first, and then helping others live a soul-fulfilled life. All right, so let's get into today's episode. Now, I want to talk about this. Why are people afraid of their own power? By the way, if you see me looking back and forth, it's because I'm looking at my notes, okay? Now, there's several reasons why. I'm going to bring up several things here. Number one, why are people afraid of their own power? Because people still can't seem to fathom that they have power to move mountains. Okay? People still can't fathom that they have power to speak to the weather. Yes, I said you have the power to speak to the weather. I don't care about the so-called weather manipulation that has taken place or can take place. I don't even care about that. We're talking about you, the power that you possess. People have a hard time fathoming that type of strength and power that they possess because many of us are still too attached to what people will think. It sounds unrealistic, and all of that comes from programming. People are afraid of what people will think because if I start talking about that I have the power, that I know that I have the power to move mountains, what are people going to think of me? Are people going to think that I'm crazy? Is that going to sound realistic? We're not talking about what's realistic here. We're talking about your power. All right. Being realistic is based on what you know or what you think you know or what the ego thinks it knows. Being realistic is what we have been shown through programming. Being realistic comes from a lens of borders. But when we're talking about your soul, when we're talking about spirituality, there are no borders. There are no limits. There are no, okay, here's a possibility and then here's a possibility. No, no, no. There are infinite possibilities. That's what we're on this channel. All right? So that's one of the reasons why people are afraid of their own power, because they can't fathom it. And also understand this, here's a side note. Just because you can't fathom it or just because you don't believe it doesn't mean that it does not exist. All right? Now, let's talk about programming a little bit more. And I'm going to use religion as an example. So, here's the thing with programming. It's easy to convince people that there is some devil, that there is some evil force out there somewhere messing with their life or causing an unfavorable event. Religion does that. When you can become programmed to believe that there is some evil force out there that is causing things in your life, that is living from a place of no power. That is living powerlessly. And then what happens is that we get into a practice of giving our own power. With your power, that's your life force. We live in a way, robotically, where we're giving away our life force over to that programmed idea that there is some evil force out there that is causing unfavorable events in our life. Instead of embracing the power that we have as alchemists and saying, wait a minute, this external circumstance is for my elevation. This external circumstance is to strengthen my voice, to strengthen my spiritual gifts, so that I can stand more firmly as the magician in my life, so that the expressed magician, so that the magician can now be expressed through me, which will reverse the external to now work in my favor. So there's no evil force out there bringing me an unfavorable circumstance. This circumstance is designed so that I and my power can be taken to an elevated level now. It's time for us to rise, so let's go. So when we hear in religion phrases like, and there are many, many iterations of this, God has given me this trial, or the devil or Satan is messing with me. First of all, God does not give trials, and there is no devil or Satan messing with you. So, if it's easy to convince people that a devil is lurking around on the streets, by the light pole, at the stop sign, lurking out here messing with people, then it's equally easy to convince people that a God is out there doing all of the rescuing, and that we have to wait for some being out there to rescue us from an unfavorable circumstance. What does that thinking imply? It implies separation from the infinite intelligence within. It implies separation from the power, the God power within. It implies separation from the power to move mountains that you carry within your DNA. Spiritual elevation leads to internal shedding, okay, of the old to welcome in a new level of existence. At the same time, there is an external shedding of the old to welcome in the new. So that's where those external circumstances that can look and feel unfavorable, those circumstances, that is the magic school. It's the runway for your super self, your supernatural self, to be expressed with full confidence, even while fear is present. Even while the fear is present. So we have to get out of, so that is, and I know I talked about a lot, but those are the reasons why people are afraid of their own power, because they're worried about what it's going to look like, to other people. Is it realistic? And then there's the programmed part of it, which we just reviewed, all right, which implies to a separation of your power. You are not separate from it. You are it. All right. So a lot of times too, the external circumstances, I'm not saying that they are always easy to transition through. They are not always easy to exist in. But when you understand who you are, and that you understand that this is not a trial from God, that this is not a cause from some evil force out there to get you. When you understand who you are as a magician, then you can stand in that with wands in both hands and say, I am the goddess over every circumstance. I am God over every circumstance. So let me take my status, let me take my seat as the magician, as the alchemist, and move this mountain. Period. Now, some people will say, oh, you have to go through things. Yeah, okay, fine. You can go through it while moving the mountain at the same time, so that you can see your power being elevated, so that you can see the cosmic self being expressed more and more fully within you. All right. So I want to leave you with that episode. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments. Don't forget about the magic school. Okay. Also, don't forget about my 90-day consulting package that I offer. Both of those links will be in the description box of this video. And until next time, cheers.